Let's bring in political analyst Ryan Chilcote now, live from here in London. Ryan, thank you very much for your time. Why is Ukraine's energy system being deliberately and systematically, it would appear, targeted by Russia?
Yeah, this is, I think there's two parts to that. One is that in the Kremlin's eyes, this is retaliation for what they believe was Ukrainian attacks on Russian energy infrastructure, starting with Nord Stream at the very beginning of the war. And there have been numerous attacks since. So in the Kremlin's eyes, it's a bit of tit for tat, but it's also a way in the Kremlin's eyes of wearing out Ukrainians without necessarily killing them at the same time by destroying infrastructure, making life so impossible without heat, without electricity. They believe that they can, if you will, in a twisted way, win hearts and minds without undermining completely Ukrainian interest in, or while undermining Ukrainian, let's say, resolve. So I think that's what's really at the heart of it. It's been going on since the very beginning of the war in fits and starts, and the Russians have really doubled down on it recently.
And a lot of the strikes overnight, they were blocked by Ukraine, but by no means all, as we've been hearing. What's
Yeah.
Zelensky been saying?
He's looking for air defense. He says that's the most critical thing we need now, and the fact that Ukraine lost its largest power station just outside of Kiev, depriving, as you just heard, 200,000 people of electricity is evidence why he thinks it's critical. But I mean, everything is critical right now, as we're hearing, right? Ukraine needs more soldiers. Ukraine needs more weapons. Just like Russia, if you think about it, both President Zelensky and President Putin have been trying to shelter as many people in their respective countries as possible from the reality of a growing war that has now been going on, for more than 2 years. So it is imperative for them to find new recruits, find new weapons all of the time, to keep it going. I mean, some of these Ukrainian soldiers have been on the front lines, and Russian soldiers probably as well, for more than a year. It's unsustainable. So they need. So in a way, it gets riskier on both sides, and we're seeing that in Ukraine right now, with the Ukrainian president moving forward mobilization, saying, "We'll mobilize you now from the age of 25, not 27." Risking public sentiment. People don't want to see their kids go off to war, but there are no easy choices anymore.
It's followed months of delays, hasn't it? And thousands of amendments, this new conscription law that was passed by the Ukrainian government today. Tell us a little bit more about it and why it's so controversial.
Well, I guess at the heart of it, to the amendments, something like 4,000 of them, right? At the heart of it, every family and every individual in every country, but in this particular case, Ukraine, has to make a decision about how much they care about their allegiance to their country. Are they prepared to give their life and go to the front line? And the reality is that not everyone wants to do that, as patriotic as they might be. But again, they're needed on the front lines. And so we're seeing this tug of war between people that want to support Ukraine, but don't necessarily want to die for their country because they want to live their own lives and they have their own aspirations, which may not necessarily be maintaining the territorial integrity of the country that they live in by losing their life.
Ryan, thank you very much for your time and for speaking to us here on TRT World. Ryan Chilcote, live there from London.